From day one, Clash Endurance has always done triathlon different. It began in one of sport's most epic arenas, Daytona International Speedway, the home of the great American race, the Daytona 500. From Homestead, Miami to the legendary Watkins Glen, Clash events have offered athletes unique experiences unlike any others in the multi-sport world. Today, we're bringing you another Clash race in another incredible destination, Gulfport. Welcome to Clash Coastal Mississippi. Today, we're hosting a race that might very well be the most exciting triathlon held anywhere on the planet in 2026. The USA Triathlon Collegiate Club Championship Mixed Relay. 4 athletes, 2 men, 2 women, each hoping to help their college win both today's race and a national title. I'm Kevin McKinnon, and I'll be one of your hosts for our live coverage of today's mixed relay. Joining me are 2 triathlon legends, 2008 Olympian Jared Shoemaker and multiple Ironman 70.3 champion Alicia Kay. Thanks for joining us here in Gulfport, and hang on. You're in for an incredible ride. Alicia and Jared, take it away. I'm off to get ready for our opening ceremonies.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We're looking forward to a great day of racing here in Gulfport. Let's learn a little bit more about Clash Endurance and what makes their events so special.
When we started this, I made the promise. The only rule was there are no rules. Daytona, bigger and better than ever. We've added collegiate national championships. For a cyclist red line relay, the Jingle Jog, the Old Florida gravel ride, the Daytona half marathon and 5K. We're actively exploring new venues and opportunities.
It's a great venue, you know, controlled, safe.
In awe, like what better place to race?
Welcome to Gulfport. We are so excited to be here. We're live from the booth. We're ready for a great day of racing. Before we get into today's action, we're going to take a look back at what happened yesterday. We had some incredible racing at the America's Triathlon Cup. It was a day packed with speed, strategy, and dramatic finishes. Let's take a peek.
Now we go over there.
The athletes got underway. It was very clean water. We had a couple of girls that came in right off the front.
What a view. Just unbelievable scenery here in Gulfport. I had the opportunity to go out and spectate along this bike course, and the beaches are absolutely unbelievable here. We're so lucky to be able to host such an incredible event here in Gulfport.
Yeah, the first pack got away. There were a couple of women in there. Gwen Jorgensen, gold medalist for the U.S., was in the second group. A couple chase packs behind, but it was a pretty dynamic bike out there. Honestly, perfect conditions for a race.
And they worked well together. They were able to keep their lead off of that chase pack. Coming out here to the dismount line, you'll see them run to their bike rack here, quickly mount it by the saddle, and put on their bike shoes so fast. It's really unbelievable how quick these athletes have gotten at this.
Yeah, it's amazing how much faster it's gotten over the years. And heading out onto the run, it was getting a little bit hot. It warmed up during the day. But we saw some fantastic run times out on the course, and Gwen put on a performance, but we had a we had a great race out front.
We sure did. And we'll see her Wetterlund takes the win with Gwen just behind her. Incredibly close racing in this women's finish, with Gwen 7 seconds behind, and I believe third place was just 3 seconds behind that. Just to see this kind of tight racing in women's elite triathlon is just absolutely fantastic.
And it was really fun to see Gwen back out there. She obviously took a couple of years off to run marathon, and she's gotten back into triathlon over the past couple of years. But it's cool to see the youth coming through in our sport, but also, you know, they look up to Gwen.
Incredible. Look at that award. Unreal. Bill Christie doesn't mess around with his trophies. And Kevin had a chance to catch up with our first and second place athletes after the race.
You just held off one of the best runners our sport has ever seen, the 2016 Olympic gold medalist. What were you thinking there when you started to see Gwen Jorgensen try and chase you down out on that run course?
Well, Gwen is a legend, and I think it's just, it was amazing to get to line up beside her. And so when I saw her coming at me, I was like, man, I guess, here we go, right? And so to be able to finish just ahead of her, I think our bike pack worked really good together, and it's an amazing feeling. But the biggest feeling is the feeling of gratification that no one crashed, everyone's here, and we had a really fun race.
I'm guessing it feels good that everyone's excited to race against you, but not so good that they're trying to beat you.
Yeah, everyone here is out here to win, but Kelly, she said the same thing to me. I said congratulations, and she's like, it's just so nice to race with you. So, I think that it's exciting that we have up-and-coming athletes. Super amazing that the community really welcomed us in here, and a great event, a great course, and a really fun place to be.
Just 10 seconds separated our women's podium. But in the men's race, it was a blistering run that blew the field wide open.
United States 2019 Junior U23.
The guys' start was really fast. One of the things that really impressed me is we had one guy get off the front.
That was Blake Bullard.
Yeah, he
fantastic swim.
He had a lead by the end of about 10 to 15 seconds, which is really impressive over this caliber field.
Yeah, it's hard to get a gap when you've got 60 of the best males and female triathletes in the world. It's hard to get away, but we saw these guys get really organized. A number of Project Podium athletes. This is Parker Spencer's crew that oscillates between Park City, Utah, and Phoenix. We saw their training dynamics on play in the race yesterday. We see them working very well together, and we're able to keep that gap between that front pack and the chase pack.
Yeah, they had a really good gap coming into transition. This is our bigger second chase pack that was coming in behind them, and it was amazing to watch them run. I mean, they were absolutely flying out there. It was a very impressive performance on the guys' side, and we can see Matthias coming in here for the win.
Just an exceptional runner, and was really able to blow apart that run, and just incredibly fast run splits too, with Braxton Legg coming in second, and we got Blake Bullard here in third. What a podium performance for these three men.
It's impressive, and the cool thing is that they train together, and I think that's really, really interesting. They get to push each other on a daily basis. And Kevin caught up with our first and second place athletes after the race.
So, Matisse, this has been a great start to your season. You've had already a couple of wins. I know that you train with a crew from the U.S., a lot of your teammates out here today. What was it like being able to be out on the course with those guys?
Yeah, it's awesome. Our coach and our team are doing a crazy good job. So, yeah, Blake pushing the swim. After that, working with Braxton and Blake together to make the breakaway stick was awesome. And, yeah. We did it as a team, so that was great.
I have got our second place finisher here today, Braxton Legg. Congratulations. How does it feel to come second here at an America's Triathlon Cup event?
It feels great. It's such a privilege to race in the U.S., so it's really fun to be out there with the guys. My teammates went 1, 2, and 3, so it was great.
Matisse just not being nice to you guys. I'm guessing running with him can't ever be fun.
He's always hard to beat. I've raced him so many times, and he's outrun me like that many times, so he's always fast.
If yesterday was all about individual performance, today is going to be all about team tactics and execution After a pair of thrilling elite and collegiate draft legal races yesterday, the stage is set for an incredible action-packed team relay here in Gulfport. So, Jared, I personally have never done a mixed relay. I would love to hear from you as someone who has experience doing it. What is this event all about? What are we about to watch?
I actually got the opportunity to race the first ever mixed relay, which was in 2009 in Des Moines at the World Cup there. And since then, it's now become a staple of our World Triathlon circuit. It's an absolutely dynamic event. We've got 4 athletes out there racing. They're going to tag off to each other, but they each are doing a mini triathlon. So they're going to do a 300-meter swim, a 4.4K bike, and then a 1K run. They tag off, the next person goes. It is a fast race. It's quick, it's high-paced, and it's honestly a lot of excitement out there.
And does it always go boy, girl, girl, boy? What are we going to see happen today?
So they initially started it off, it was woman, then man, woman, man. Now they switched it for the next quad, which is an Olympic cycle, to guy, girl. And it has switched again. So now we're back to the women going first and the guys going second. So we're going to see the women going first on the start, and it is going to be an absolutely fast race. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, this is a beautiful venue for it. We've got great harbor swim, so it's going to be really tight, really packed. And it's going to be a nice, fast bike. It's going to be windy out there, though. It's going to be challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the warm water, flat terrain, we've got a scenic waterfront. Gulfport is the ideal location for an endurance sport like triathlon or your next vacation.
Shop is closed and my schedule is open for the perfect getaway. No more deadlines, just sunshine. I'm looking for a place to escape above or explore below. I'm here to make waves, not work. Stop running and start relaxing. Play coastal and have fun for fun's sake!
So we love this venue. It's absolutely beautiful here. It's been great, and we want to do a big thank you to Governor Reeves and Mayor Keating for welcoming us to the area. We've had a spectacular time here and love it.
All right. Welcome everyone once again to Gulfport, Mississippi. This is your USA Triathlon National Collegiate Club Championship. And we are now getting ready to start our mixed relay. Let's bring up our top 5 teams from last year's race. Your defending champions, the Queen's University of Charlotte. Second place last year, the University of Colorado. Third place last year was U.S. Naval Academy. Fourth was U.S. Military Academy, West Point. And fifth was Michigan State. All right, and now we can have the rest of our athletes head on down. 62 teams competing here today. at your USA Triathlon Collegiate Club National Championship. So the athletes all working their way over to the line now. Starting our race here today, a gentleman we owe a lot of thanks to. He is the mayor of Gulfport, and Gulfport has been such an incredible host. This is Mayor Keating, and I've been joking, he's been having a blast all day, and his wife is going to help him out, firing off our cannon to start our third race of our USA Triathlon Collegiate Club Championship, our mixed relay. And we're about 3 minutes to our race starts.
Yeah, Jared, walk us through what this swim course is like. So we see they've got an in-water start. They're going to be holding the rope, and once the gun goes, they'll let go of that. What's it like to swim inside this marina?
This is going to be a really interesting race. As you can see, they have about 150 meters to the first turn.
That's pretty short distance to get some clear water for that breakout swim.
We always thought of it as, you've got 150 meters with 62 of your best friends, and you got to get to the first turn buoy and get around there, and it's a little bit of chaos, but
yeah.
It's fun out there, and they're all going to be going as hard as they can to get off the line to try and get a little bit of a lead over everybody else.
And it looks like we're just getting set here for the start. Sure, lots of nerves down there, but it does look like we're very nearly ready to go.
Whatever. That would be I'm not a fan of.
One of the other things I've been amazed at all weekend is these collegiate athletes. They've been so much fun. So much fun. Looks like they're ready to go.
90 seconds to your race start, ladies. 90 seconds to your race start.
Yeah, the crowds have been incredible this weekend. The support from their communities, from the different colleges and universities has just been incredible to see. We've seen a lot of costumes. We've seen a lot of just school spirit. Look at all these flags lined up.
I think they had a dance party.
They had a dance party last night. It was just incredible to see the community spirit here for sure showing up. But these moments are definitely tense as an athlete. It always just feels like your heart is in your throat. I don't know about you. I feel like you're always more relaxed than I was, but it looks like we're nearly ready to go.
Noise for these ladies as they get ready to go. Your USA Triathlon Collegiate Club National Championship. The mixed relay is about to get rolling. We have had 2 days of incredible racing, and now it all comes down to this. We'll be crowning our national team champion later today. And can Queen's University of Charlotte defend their national title? And there they go! You thought I was joking when I said Mayor Keating was having a blast all day. That was louder than this morning, he said. Mayor Keating started our Olympic distance event at 7:15 this morning, and he got things rolling with a blast here. So 62 teams have started here. Your USA Triathlon Collegiate Club National Championship is off and rolling. Alicia and Jared, have fun. These guys are flying as they get rolling on the start here.
Yeah, we're already seeing some athletes separate themselves from the field. Having a great swim start is just such a weapon to have as a triathlete, and we see some athletes getting clear water very early here in the swim.
Yeah, you can see there's a couple different lines that have formed. So what the athletes are trying to do here at the start is kind of get in behind somebody who's a little bit faster than them, which will give them a little bit of a draft. We tend to think of drafting as being really, really good on the bike, but it helps a lot in the swim.
Absolutely.
So if you can kind of get in behind some people, it's good. And the other thing that they're going to be trying to figure out is the angle towards the first buoy, right? Everybody's trying to get to that first buoy first because they can cut on the inside.
These shots are just absolutely incredible, not only of this venue, but of these athletes. This is super rare that we're getting this viewpoint in a triathlon. We have an incredible team that's helping with the production of this event, and we're so lucky. But we see some athletes getting clear water here. Now, I always thought it was slower to swim side by side in the swim versus one right in front of the other. What was your thought when you were racing as an athlete?
Absolutely. If you can get on somebody's feet, it's going to be much better. Oh, little
argy-bargy.
You're much better off sitting behind somebody than you are swimming on their feet or their hip. It definitely slows the person in front down. And as you can see going around the buoys here, when the fastest line is obviously the corner right around the buoy, but sometimes you get pushed out around the buoy and you just kind of have to deal with what happens. Some people like to get in that melee. I personally did not. I'd rather be on the outside, but that's a longer line. Right?
Absolutely. It was always that strategy of, do you want clear water or do you want to get in on the inside and rub elbows a little bit with the other participants in the race? And we have an athlete that, let's talk about sighting and how important that is. So we see an athlete right now that's just gotten a little bit turned around. It's really easy to have happen in the water. You can get disoriented, and she's unfortunately swims pretty significantly off course. Sighting in open water is so critical because you want to swim the straightest line possible, correct? So that's really, really important. So tell us some strategies for sighting in open water and how athletes can swim a straighter line.
Yeah, you saw that happen there, and generally, these buoys, they're actually pretty low to the ground. It's actually easier. You probably could have sighted off that big white pavilion behind.
Right, there's your viewpoint. That's perfect.
And you can see something up a little bit higher so you don't have to get your head out of the water quite as much, which can be a good tactic. Sometimes you actually can just bury your head and follow the bubbles of the feet in front of you. But it's one of those things where the sun can play a factor in that. Obviously not the case here. But yeah, I always tried to sit right behind the people in front of me and kind of follow their bubbles, keep my head down as much as I could. But yeah, we have a nice little pack here off the front. Looks like we've got about 7 or 8 people together, which is pretty good. I love it when there's a little pack together for these draft legal events.
Yeah, it'll be great. These women can definitely work together while on the bike. And now, as things get physical, sometimes you might not get on the right side of the buoy. Is there a penalty that these athletes might face for missing that buoy? What does that look like for them? What kind of rules do they need to follow out here on the swim course?
So they got to go around all the buoys, right? You got to do that. You're going to get a penalty if you don't do that. You're also potentially going to get a penalty if you do anything bad to another athlete. So if you dunk them on purpose, if you run into them, that's not a penalty. But if you do something kind of unsportsmanlike, you might do that. One of the other things that I want to point out is we have a couple women who are in wetsuits. They're going to have to take those off at the end. So that's actually going to be a slower transition for them.
Yeah, and we're going to be ready to throw it down to Kevin here. He's going to bring us right into that swim exit action.
All right, guys, so they are just coming on in now. You've got a group of about 6 who look like they could get themselves clear. You got 2 just hanging off the back, 3 more just a shade back. So that could potentially be a group of almost 11 getting out clear, which I think would be ideal. And I'm trying to keep my eyes open. Claire Dasso, I believe, is heading off for Queen's University of Charlotte. She has been leading the way out on the bike at both of the races she's done here today. So look for Queen's University of Charlotte to be up in front as they get things rolling here. And now you can see more of the pack coming on in. So guys, yet another exciting mixed relay. I keep promising this is going to be exciting, and I don't think I'm lying. Back to you.
Definitely not. Here they are already in transition. Look at this beautiful setup. We've got women running all over the place. It can get a little disorganized in there. So what are the things these athletes need to be negotiating? Not just swim to bike, but there's a lot of action in this transition area.
So the transition's a flow through, which means you're going to go in one way and go out another way, and that's true for the entire race. So they're kind of running up this side, they're going to go down through the middle and head out together. It's interesting with the results. We got a pack of about pretty close together. There's a second pack about 20 seconds back. But we have some of our teams that we were expecting would be up there, and then some other teams that I'm really excited to see them. Yeah, we got Purdue and Milligan up there, but we have Navy and Michigan State up in the front group.
And right now we're seeing these ladies get onto their bike. The bike mount is truly a skill. The transition is really the fourth sport of triathlon. And learning these flying mounts and how to get on your bike as quickly as possible is a really critical skill. So we see some athletes already into their bike shoes. So for the majority of these athletes, they've chosen to have their bike shoes clipped into their bike. And then they're getting their feet right into the bike shoes, so they're not having to have that awkward run that you might do with the pair of carbon fiber bike shoes. They're not easy to run in. And then they're getting their feet in and they're rocking and rolling. So it looks like they are just kind of spread out right now. And then they will hopefully pack up a little bit here, because that's going to be the fastest way for them to work together.
And one of the other things today is the wind is actually coming out of the north. They're actually heading south right now. So when they do this U-turn, they're going to be heading back into the wind, which is obviously a little bit harder to work into. So you might see groups start to form because people might not want to work quite as hard. They might want to sit behind somebody else when they come back into the wind after this turnaround.
And look at this technical course, but also so beautiful. I mean, the scenery here has just been so spectacular, but the best thing about this course is it's completely closed to traffic. These athletes can ride on whatever side of the road that they want. Draft legal racing means that they can pass on the right, they can pass on the left, they can do whatever tactics make sense for their ride. But it does look like they are still pretty strung out. We've got a group of maybe 2 or 3 women that could cut together there, but we're kind of seeing a little bit of a time trial amongst these women right now.
One of the things that all these athletes will continue to work on and learn are U-turns and cornering. That can make a massive difference in your race. When you're slowing down to go into a U-turn, you're trying to hold the best line, but you also have to accelerate out of that. And that's a time when sometimes if it's a bigger pack, you can get dropped off of that pack. So it's something that, I mean, athletes are always working on all the way up to the Olympic level, is cornering, U-turns, really making sure that they're technically proficient on the bike.
So a lot of these athletes raced either a sprint distance or an Olympic. How short is this? Give our viewers an idea of how fast and furious this mixed relay really is.
Yeah, so a lot of these athletes this is their third race. I don't even want to say on the weekend. It's their third race in about 24 hours. So some of them did a draft legal event yesterday, which is about an hour long total just for them. And then this morning is a Olympic distance race, which is about 2 hours. And this one is going to be 15 to maybe 20 minutes. So this is a lot of racing in a day and a half, really. And so what you see in that is that athletes who are better trained, a little bit fitter, they're the ones that are going to do better in this type of a race. And the ones who are more technically proficient, because they're the ones that are going to be saving a little bit of energy over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, we just got a little bit of a beautiful demonstration of drafting here. We saw the athlete in the black kit approach the athlete in the teal kit, and she was clearly going faster, but the athlete in the teal kit jumped right in on her slipstream. This is a master class in drafting. So even though that athlete was riding faster than her, she's given this athlete a free ride. So is that athlete just not working it as hard in the back? Like, are they conserving their energy? Are we going to see them pull through? What are the kind of the race dynamics we're going to see unfold here on the bike?
Usually when you see the groups come together, you'll see them rotate through, so they'll take pulls at the front. Depends on how strong people are. Usually you want to take like a 20 to 30 second pull and rotate around. You can see a couple packs a little bit further back there of 4 and 5 athletes together. And so ideally, if they do that, they're actually saving a lot of energy. So the athletes that are going to be, in this pack of 4 people, right, second, third, and fourth, they're saving energy. Then one of them is going to go to the front. The first athlete's going to drop towards the back and sit in. And they're saving a lot of energy. It is a massive savings, especially into the wind.
Yeah, I always found this was like a little bit of a negotiation on race day. Who could you get to just work with you? When I was racing, the bike was my strength. And, if you're a strong runner, you might not want to spend as much time with your nose in the wind. And I know that was your situation as a really strong runner. So there's so much strategy involved with draft legal racing, which makes it so exciting because there is no requirement to do equal parts work out there on the bike.
Absolutely not. I got yelled at a couple times when I was sitting in a group, but I also knew that I could outrun people. So you are thinking about that in your head. But the biggest thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to lose too much time on the front group. So, you have to think about, hey, if I'm not working quite as hard, are we losing time to those leaders? How far is that? Especially in this draft legal relay, they're not just thinking about themselves. They're thinking about trying to position themselves for their next athlete coming up. So the next athlete they might know is a good swimmer and they might be able to catch back up, right? So in that case, their run, they know that they just have to put it in a good place close to the lead runners and they can catch back up in the swim. That's what I love about this race. It's super dynamic. There's a lot of thought that has to go into how the athletes race together because you're not picking your best swimmer, your best biker, your best runner. You're picking your best triathletes and understanding how you might piece them together to make the best 4-person team.
Look at this park. How spectacular. I know you spent some miles here this week. I believe you did a 15-mile run.
I did.
Got to know this park very well.
I did. I got to run along the shoreline. I got to run with Parker Spencer, who's coach of USA Project Podium. Talked to him quite a bit about his athletes that are coming up through the ranks. A lot of them were involved in collegiate programs. And so, we had a great time, and it was a beautiful, beautiful run. I really enjoyed it. I haven't had the chance to bike, but I am going to do a relay tomorrow. We're going to race with some first-timers out there, so it's actually going to be a lot of fun helping them get through their first triathlon. But, yep, and now you can see our lead athletes are coming into transition.
Yeah, this part is so tricky as an athlete because your legs are just burning. I mean, look at her, slack jaw, she's stuck in an oxygen. She's trying to think about now she's got to get off the bike and run. And here's a beautiful example of the shoes clipped into the pedals. So she's left them there. She's going to come into transition, get those shoes on, and really be ready to get out there and how short is this run? 1K?
1K, yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
500 out, 500 back. It is fast, and you have heavy legs after biking that hard, and you're just running as hard as you can now too. And there's always something about being in a relay. There's always something about how you push yourself just that little bit harder for your teammates, right? So you might run faster in a relay than you do individually, which is a pretty amazing experience. And we should see, we got a bunch of people coming in here. Shoes on top of the pedals, dismounting. They got to get 2 feet off on the ground before they hit the dismount line. Otherwise, they get a penalty, which you definitely don't want to do to your teammates in this race.
Yeah, we've got quite a few athletes. It looks like this group did come together. Looks like 5 or 6 athletes. And our first athletes are out and onto that run course. And I think our colleague Kevin may have a beautiful viewpoint here and be able to tell us how these runners are looking on the way out.
All right, so we've got Claire Dosso out in front now. So Queen's University of Charlotte and Duke just heading on out just behind her. And that looks like California just in there as well. So we've got 3 athletes. Claire Dosso has had an incredible weekend. She had a huge lead off the bike in our draft legal race, and then 2 athletes were able to just run her down in the final few hundred meters of yesterday's draft legal race. So Claire Dosso ended up 3rd yesterday in that race and then finished second today in the Olympic distance race. So right now, she is no doubt on tired legs, but still looking so strong. So guys, I will throw back to you, but give me some room when we get Claire Dasso coming in, and we'll bring her in for that next exchange.
Amazing. That's a lot of racing and good racing. And so you can see here we got our leaderboard on the side here, but Queens has a nice lead of 28 seconds. So we got Duke and Cal just behind, and then a nice little pack of Stanford, Army, Michigan State, and Navy, Colorado. I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun. Queens ran away from it last time, but let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the speed that these women are coming out of transition. It is not easy to run 1K as hard as you can. This run could be as short as 3 minutes and 15 seconds for our fastest athletes. The feeling in your legs, especially your quads after you've biked hard is just so tough. But we see all these women out there absolutely getting gritty. We're pushing hard. And it is warm out there right now. It's well into the 80s. And it is definitely heating up, so they're giving their best effort. And look at these crowds, just absolutely spectacular.
And one of the cool things you'll notice when they do come in to the transition is that all the athletes are in a big pen together that are waiting to go. So you're actually right next to the people you're competing against, and you got to face them down. It's always nice to get that little lead, but you actually have to physically touch the person before. I had a relay once where they claimed that we didn't touch, but I had a phantom touch. I know we touched because I felt it. It was the tiniest touch. They didn't have replay back then, but now they do. But yeah, you have to touch your athlete, your next athlete, and then they're going to run and dive into the water and start off on their swim.
Yeah, let's not forget we get to do this 3 more times. This is just absolutely spectacular racing. It's definitely heating up there. So 77 degrees. It's just perfect conditions for racing, though. And the winds, it's definitely pushing out there from the north, and I think it's definitely going to play a factor on the bike today for sure. And maybe that's part of the reason why we just didn't see that bike pack up. And how does the wind kind of play an impact there in like these really? Kevin is ready to call this exchange, our first relay exchange. Kevin, over to you.
All right, I was talking about Claire Dasso's amazing weekend of racing. She has taken her Queen's University of Charlotte team into a huge lead as she tags off here. So third in the draft legal race. She was second in today's Olympic distance try, and then takes the Queen's University of Charlotte team into a huge lead as they start that second leg of the race. You've got Duke, the Blue Devils, coming on through in second place right there, and so they tag off. And next up should be the University of California, Berkeley, coming on in. And I do believe, yep, I see them coming on here. They are getting ready to go. So that will be your third place team, but right behind them, we've got, looks like UCSB, yeah, there it is, and Colorado, and then I believe that's Army in 5th or 6th there. So guys, some great action going on here. I'll send it back to you to try and keep up with all this bedlam that's going on here. Just a quick heads up, it is loud. There's tons of excitement down here. It is panning out to be exactly what we all anticipated. Lots of energy and lots of fun out here. The course is lined as far as I can see with spectators.
I mean, I feel like one of the women had an unbelievable run.
Yeah, I'm not seeing UCSB on the leaderboard here. I'm trying to look through our stats and see if she ran through a lot of people, but that's an incredible run. And the cool thing is now they're in the water, and the leader wants to try and stay away. The other groups are going to try and pack back up. So we've got Queens out in front, and we can see there's actually about 4 people really close together there. And what they want to do is get together, right? So they want to catch back up to the people in front of them, so that they can work together as a group, because they're hunting. Now they're trying to get queens.
Yeah. So how do these teams decide who's going to go first? I mean, obviously you have to go by gender, like male, female, but how are you thinking about who you want to go first? I imagine maybe a really great swimmer, because you have that big pack start at the beginning. So what kind of strategy are they thinking about?
It's interesting. The way that I think these races should be run personally is you put your better athletes towards the front, because you want to stay in the race as long as possible. So that's why Claire Dasso did the leadoff. I know that the Duke women, and I'm blanking on her name right now, she had a really good race as well. So I know that what they're thinking is, let's stay in the front, let's get into the group, let's have our athletes stay up front. And that's what they want to try and do. You want to stay in the race as long as possible.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, because it's incredible what you can pull out of yourself as an athlete when you are put in the position of just being at the front of the race, being able to be at the pointy end of the field and really have the opportunity to have that pressure on you from your teammates to say, hey, we're counting on you. Being the fourth person has got to be nerve-wracking in this event.
Oh, look at this. They're trying to pack up together. It's amazing. Our first swim, right? 62 of your best friends together. Now you got people 1, 1, 1. And so what they're trying to do is get together with people.
Yeah, we talked about sighting a little bit earlier in the race, and we're going to continue to see that play a factor and just staying on course and having a good straight line. You're not only sighting for buoys, but you're also sighting for the feet. What do you do as an athlete when you see someone starting to swim off course a little bit and you know the buoy? How do you make that judgment call? Because I always remember as an athlete, that was tough. How do you know when to leave the feet, go for the straighter line, or just stick to the feet and enjoy the draft?
There's two things. Sometimes you're actually wanting to know who the athlete is in front of you, because they might be trying to swim you off of their feet. So they might be swimming the wrong way for a little bit on purpose to get you off the feet. But we already have our first athlete from Queens coming back out of the water.
Massive lead.
They have a huge lead. I know they ran away with it last year, so I'm sure that's their tactic, is let's get out in front. Let's just sit on the front. We want to be by ourselves. We want to control our own race. We don't want to have to deal with being in a group and the tactics that might go on in another group.
Yeah, and we're going to send it down to Kevin. It looks like he's in T1.
Hey guys, yes, I am in transition, and you can see behind me our first male athlete from the Queen's University of Charlotte team is now just getting ready to jump on his bike. It looks like he has managed to open up a little bit of time, so your defending champions are kind of messing up our make this race super exciting feeling that we were aiming for, but I think they are quite happy to ignore that memo and get rolling with things. So he is on his way out on the bike, and we have yet to see, oh, here we go. We're just seeing our second athlete now coming on out. So that looks like it's University of California, Berkeley will be in second. So you've got a group of 3 that are relatively close together and might be able to work to see if they can make up some ground on the Charlotte folks. I will send it back to you, and you guys are doing a great job keeping us rolling here. Thanks.
All right, it sounds like that was Cal Berkeley, not Cal Santa Barbara.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we can see that them and Army are right there together, and then we have a little gap back to Duke and Navy. And actually Stanford as well looks like they're right in the mix for that third, or I should say fourth spot.
We got to talk about the swim out of that Queens athlete. I mean, he took off that lead with a 24-second gap, now up to 52. So absolutely brilliant swim out of that athlete. To continue to extend their lead that way is going to be huge for that third and fourth person. I know they're the favorites. Like, they clearly have an incredible team, but that was just a beautiful swim out of them.
That's an impressive swim. I mean, they put 30, 40 seconds, and also, you know, what I saw too is they're very efficient with their transition. So he was able to get in through transition, get out quickly. And we see one athlete there actually. So you know, there's one thing, you can have your feet on the bike. There's sometimes you can actually ride with your shoes, your running shoes on the pedals.
Yeah, that was so cool. I'm so glad we saw that, because I always remember that was the thing in mixed relay, that we were like, ooh, do we go with the bike shoes or do we just put our running shoes on out of the swim? So we're not even thinking about putting on our running shoes in T2. So that was so cool to see that. And I even remember a product back in the day where there was a small like clip-in on the running shoe, where the running shoe could almost act like a cycling shoe. You're still going to, of course, have that flexibility of a running shoe, but you would at least be clipped in and could pull up on the pedal. But very cool to see that athlete just playing with strategy and trying to find a way to save some seconds out there.
So their T2 is going to be faster now, getting off the bike onto the run, which can be super helpful. They don't have to worry about bending over, which sometimes
doesn't feel good.
hurts the hamstrings and the low back. The thing that they're going to miss is part of pedaling dynamics, which what you're going to miss is actually the pull up on your pedal stroke. So you're going to be able to pedal across the top and down pretty well, but you're going to miss kind of pulling back and pulling up, which can be really helpful if you need to accelerate out of corner. So that's what they might miss in there. So if they do get in a tight group, they get towards the back and they have to try and accelerate quickly, that could be where they have a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I was just curious, like looking at some of these shots, I haven't noticed, maybe you've picked up on it, if they're choosing to run hydration or any kind of calories or fuel on this, or is this just so short that you're like, yeah, I'm good, I don't even need to think about it?
I haven't seen anything. You know, sometimes you put a water bottle in there to fill the space from an aerodynamic perspective, but you really don't have the time to actually go in there to drink water, to put a gel down. Your fueling's done. I mean, even if you talk to any nutritionist and they you ask them, hey, what should I do to fuel during a 15-minute race? They'd say nothing. Fuel before the race. So these athletes have fueled, and the crazy thing is, if you think about it, they're fueling for this race, but they raced earlier today. So they actually had to think about fueling in between their 2-hour Olympic distance race and this race, which is actually probably tougher to do than just preparing for one race.
Yeah, and we've got Kevin with the mayor of this beautiful city.
All right, guys, I am here with a gentleman who has been smiling all weekend long. He's literally been having a blast. He shot the cannon off for us here today. Mayor Keating, how excited are you, and what does this mean to have this event here in Gulfport?
This is no longer the secret coast. The Clash is a first-class organization, and USA Triathlon can't say enough positive things about the quality of the individuals and the organization that you guys have brought. And we're so pleased to be able to host it and to showcase the quality of life here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and in particular, the city of Gulfport. We're very fortunate and blessed. You can tell what a glorious day we have here, and these athletes are having a wonderful time. The fans and their entourage supporting them. I think they've learned a little bit about what we have down here, and I hear there's going to be a lot of people coming back. So we're real pleased and real happy, and just thank you guys for believing in us and giving us the opportunity to show you what we can do. And this competition is world class, obviously. Olympic qualifier, USA championships. It's just a great thing for everyone. It's a win-win-win. And thank you for Clash coming, and we look forward to several years ahead, too.
As do we. Thank you so much, Mayor Keating. It has been wonderful to be here in Gulfport. You guys sure know how to host us all, and for sure we will be back for many years to come. He's Mayor Keating. I'm Kevin McKinnon. I'm going to throw back to you guys, and we will catch up on more of our racing here at the USA Triathlon Collegiate Club National Championship, our mixed relay.
I had the opportunity to actually hang out with the mayor a little bit. We had a get-together at the aquarium, which is across the street from this park. And I was talking to him, and I said, this looks pretty new. And he said, yeah, we built it 5 years ago during COVID. And so he said, so we've kind of been slowly able to work this aquarium. They built this park right after that. So all of this infrastructure is brand new. And we had a great conversation, and I will say the coolest thing is Katie Zafaris was there, who is a phenomenal triathlete. Now she's coaching some athletes through USA Triathlon, but she had her silver and bronze medals, and the mayor got to wear the medals and hold the medals, and he said that was one of the coolest things that he's ever gotten to do was hold those medals, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like holding an Olympic medal for the first time. You know, you never know what's going to move someone to really pursue an Olympic dream, but also to feel part of someone else's journey. So I love that the mayor got to have that experience. And we've got our first athlete from Queens coming off the bike here. Absolutely fantastic and such a dominant performance. And what I love about this course is we've got athletes starting the bike. You know, we've got such a wide variety of abilities and levels. And this, I think Collegiate Club is that like everybody's welcome. That's what I've really felt this weekend. We've seen bikes that cost a couple $100. We've seen bikes that cost thousands of dollars. We've seen everything in between. And I just love kind of the spirit of Collegiate Club. It's been really beautiful to see. Like younger me would have loved this. To have this experience to race for my school and to have the opportunity to race in community with my fellow classmates. So this has just been so fun to watch. And UCSB is right there in second place.
I don't know. It says UCSB. They're the banana slugs. You know that, and that looks banana sluggish. So I don't know. We'll have to see if that is UCSB instead of Cal Berkeley. But either way, they're great athletes. I think it is Cal Berkeley because that's what it says on our screen. But you know, I agree with you. I think that this is such an amazing community, and I actually never been part of this. I raced once for the Collegiate Championships and kind of did it on my own and the school. I was doing a grad year at Boston College, and I raced, but it wasn't this. So this is amazing what USA Triathlon has evolved into this. This is amazing. He's shouldering his bike. He's running like a cyclocross athlete.
Yeah, this is certainly a strategy because when you're holding and running with that bike, it can almost be like you're walking a bull that's bronking on you. And it can, your pedals can, because your shoes are clipped in, your pedals can kind of hit the ground with the shoes. So that's certainly a strategy, just throwing it up on your shoulder. For some people, they're just a lot more comfortable doing that. So we see UCLA here heading off on the dismount line.
And one of the things that I like is that we kind of had our pre-race favorites here, and we knew Queens was going to be good, Army, Navy, we knew they were going to be good, Colorado Boulder was amazing, but we got a couple other teams in here that we were not expecting to be up there. Duke is having an amazing race. We've seen Stanford in there. So that's the other thing I love is that, you know, maybe these teams have one or two good athletes, but that actually puts their other athletes in a position to push themselves harder because their fast athletes have gone first and second. And so then, you know, you got to step up and work hard if you're the third and fourth athlete, but it also puts you in a position to do better.
Oh, and look at this. We're getting a beautiful example of getting out of the bike shoes, putting your feet on top of the pedals. This takes some practice. This isn't something that you should be trying first time in your first race. This is something that we, you know, as athletes, we were practicing once a week, getting in and out of our bike shoes. So definitely a skill, but certainly can save you time and will certainly save your cleats on the bike from wearing down so quickly.
And one of the things, and this is a reason that some athletes are shouldering their bike or running with their bike instead of running and holding it, is that your shoes can actually pop off when they spin around. So you have to learn how to hold the bike correctly when you're running, because you do risk popping your shoe off, which is a penalty.
Awesome. It looks like Kevin is down with Queens, interview with one of the athletes.
Not an interview, this guy's moving way too fast for that.
Oh.
This is Jeremy McLean coming in to tag off. Claire Dasso led the way for Queens University of Charlotte. Jeremy McLean seems to be just opening up more time as he passes off to Franca Henselitz. So Queens University of Charlotte are just missing the memo on this. Was supposed to be exciting, but they are having one heck of a race here as they look to defend their national title. So I still haven't seen another athlete come in. Oh, here we go. We're just starting to see our next athlete coming on through. So,
wow.
Well, I will let it go back to you guys, and you guys can follow up on our following athletes.
Absolutely, and we just learned something, and one of the things about this race is that teams are allowed to enter, or I should say schools are allowed to enter more than one team. So they're allowed to enter a first team and a second team. And so it looks like we've been saying UCSB or Cal Berkeley, but it looks like that actually the UCSB team that's doing really well is actually technically the number 2 team from the school. So they're not scoring. This is
to
unconfirmed.
Be confirmed. To be
but
confirmed.
we just talked to the scorer, and that's what he's saying. So interesting. That's why I was saying that they got fun jerseys. I love it when you get a fun kit, and you can kind of identify the school based on that kit.
And how incredible. I mean, Queens was so far in the lead, we thought we were tossing down to an interview with one of their previous relay team members. So they're just out clearing away. That was probably 3-minute 1K out of him.
That's fast. And that is definitely UCSB.
Okay, we clearly can see the UCSB on that one. So,
yep.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here on this third relay team member. This is definitely shaping up to be some exciting racing. And there's the other UCLA team.
UCLA. And one of the cool things that I would say is, it's not like we have schools from one area of the country here. We've got schools from everywhere. We even have schools from up north where it's not necessarily warm yet, so they've been doing a lot of indoor training. And a lot of these athletes have come down over their spring break. They come down to Florida. I see the Navy triathlon team every year come down to Claremont, where we live. A lot of them actually raced a race that I've helped put on for several years in Claremont at one of our parks there. So, the thing that I always love is these athletes just need a chance to race. They need a chance to get out there and perform and learn the sport. And these are the people who, we all hope become our next elite triathletes, who then become our Olympians. So this is the proving ground for them, the learning ground for them to slowly grow. And that's why having these amazing experiences, racing for your team, can push you to the next level.
Absolutely, and I think you just brought up such a valid point that I'd forgotten about. I was born and raised in Canada, and I remember how brutal those first races were in March, especially because you're going to Florida, you're going to somewhere in the South where there's no more snow. And how tough it was just bike cornering, you're not on a trainer. Also just the heat adaptation, getting used to being in the heat and humidity. And we did see some athletes struggle with that this weekend, and how tough it can be to manage your heat when you're racing. So that's certainly a part of it here. I think in these shorter races, it'll be okay, but we definitely saw heat get the better of some athletes this weekend.
I actually was talking to Gwen Jorgensen before the race, and she said, I hate these first races because you never know where you are. You've always trained hard, but you just never know. And I laughed and said, yep, I remember those days. We used to fly over to Australia and New Zealand for some of our first races, and you thought you were in shape, and you got over there and you lost. They were in better shape than you, so it is kind of cool to get into these races, be able to see yourself, see where you're at and what you need to improve. This is a beautiful shot. Look at this. These athletes are perfect. We're going to see a really good buoy turn right here, close around the corner. That's basically textbook right there.
And we're going to toss it down to Kevin, who's got Miss Victoria Brumfeld from USA Triathlon.
All right, guys. Yes, as you were saying, Alicia, one of my favorite people in the sport of triathlon, your USA Triathlon CEO, Victoria Brumfeld. Victoria, what does it mean to be hosting this USA Triathlon National Championship, our Collegiate Championship? What does it mean for your organization?
This race is incredible, Kevin. We're so thrilled to be hosting our collegiate athletes from all over the country. You know, this is the fastest growing demographic of athletes in our sport. These up and coming 20+ athletes, and they're showing that the sport is so fun and it's accessible. This distance, that short super sprint, anybody can do it. And also the mixed relay, it is fast and furious. And you know, the USA holds 2 Olympic medals in this format, and we've had Olympic athletes come out of the Collegiate Club program. So we've got our eye on these fast athletes.
What would it have meant for you to be able to do this kind of event? I know you did the big one in Kona last fall, but you know, as you were coming up, what would you have loved to have done as a relay athlete?
Well, I would have given anything for the sport of triathlon to have been a collegiate sport when I was growing up. This wasn't accessible to me, but now this is a sport that we have at the youth level all the way through collegiate. And then, as you know, it's a lifelong sport. It's something I've done as an adult for more than 20 years. And you can flex from short distance to long distance. There's so many options, and it's a lifestyle. It's something that you can do to keep your whole body, mind healthy for your entire life.
You can see why I say she's one of my favorite people in the sport. What an incredible ambassador. She does it herself, and she speaks so well. Thank you so much, Victoria Brumfeld, CEO of USA Triathlon, and for all of the hard work for you and your crew this weekend. She's Victoria, I'm Kevin. I'm gonna throw back to you guys. We got more athletes just coming on out of the water now.
Yeah, I love that point that Vic made, which is just about accessibility of the sport. I was really fortunate to be exposed to the sport at a very young age, the Kids of Steel program in Canada, and to see the efforts that USAT has been putting into making triathlon accessible at the collegiate level. There's been such an emphasis on their NCAA program for women, and now this collegiate club, this has grown tremendously over the last decade. And now at USAT, we're starting to see that this is the fastest growing age group, 20 to 29. What do you think? Is this ecosystem kind of playing into this growth for the sport?
To me, this is amazing. I absolutely love the fact that we have all these athletes together. I love the team thing about it. I think that is what creates community. You know, it's funny, I actually see all these teams here, and I'm like, they're doing it better than the teams that are showing up for our for the rest of the races out there, the age group teams. So maybe the age group teams need to step up.
Take some notes on fun.
Yeah, start dressing up. We saw all sorts of crazy outfits and stuff. It was really, really, really cool to see. But yeah, I think the thing is when you get people active and get people out and moving, that's when they keep it for life, right? Mm-hmm. So their friends might be in the program, and that's what that's how they started. But they're going to become athletes for life, and that's really, in the end, what I think is the cool thing is, picking up triathlon, picking up sport, and finding a good community. Well, it looks to me like Queens has pulled even further ahead. They're about a minute and 28 seconds ahead now, and I did actually confirm we have our mixed team relay, and non-scoring is also on the scoreboard, and so the UCSB team was on the non-scoring side. So we'll see how that ends up working out. But they're doing really good, and I think we updated our graphic to have them on there now too. But look at this. We have Queens, but then we've got a pack right behind: Cal, Army, Navy, Arizona. I'm hoping we can catch up and try and find them on the course. It gets a little chaotic with all these people, because the other thing is there's no lap out rule in this race.
Right. Yeah, and that was such a cool shot there, and I noticed in the women's race, we saw the U-turn is one of the most challenging things, I think, when you're running fast to have to navigate. It is so hard to slow down, speed back up, and we saw that athlete take a wider loop, and then we saw a totally different technique in the women's race yesterday with this loop-de-loop that she did, and she sort of turned herself around backwards. What was your feeling on U-turns racing as a pro athlete, especially as such a competent runner?
The interesting thing, I actually saw a comparison of times on the U-turn and the kind of normal U-turn running around it versus this sidestep backwards turnaround thing, and it said that was faster by a couple seconds. I never tried it. I do know that some people slipped when they went around U-turns if their shoes were wet. So I don't know, save a second or two. It might feel better. If it feels better, hey, it works.
Yeah, that's so true. I think just believing in your strategy is like half the battle, right? If you think it works, it works. Yeah, this course is just so spectacular. Look at these views.
And this is where the athletes are coming back into the wind. So they're going to be trying to put their head down a little bit, get a little bit lower on the bike to get a little bit more aerodynamic. It's when it's nice to be sitting behind somebody so you don't have to do as much work. But these guys are separated by just a little bit. Or actually, it's the women out there right now. They're separated by just a little bit, so they're trying to catch up to each other because they want to get right behind the other people so that they save a little bit of energy going into the run.
Yeah, it's interesting on the road bike. Like, you know, I rode time trial bikes for the majority of my career. In that aerodynamic position, I had the aero bars to lean on. But with road bikes, there's absolutely aerodynamic positions that you can take on. You know, I really enjoyed getting into the drops, the bottom, dropping the elbows. What other techniques did you use as an athlete when you were in the pack, especially if you're at the front?
You can also get kind of on the, it's a little, put your forearms on the bars and kind of get there. You also can kind of flex your elbows in a little bit to get a little more aerodynamic. It's interesting, they had allowed for a little while to use shorty aero bars. The funny thing is that they actually aren't that much better than some of the other positions you can get into from an aerodynamic perspective, but they are a little bit easier on you from a physical perspective to kind of stay in there. So what you don't want to do is kind of hit the wind at your chest. You want to have as much of it kind of flowing over you as possible.
Yeah, getting low is definitely going to be an advantage out there as much as possible. I'm trying to break the wind with as little surface area. So it looks like we'll have some of these women end up together here on the bike, and it will certainly be an advantage with that wind.
Okay, now hopefully she can get on her wheel. Get there, get there.
Looks like she launched a little bit of an attack, and I mean, that's a strategy all on its own, right? Is when you're approaching a slower rider, you know, what move might you make to make it more difficult for that rider to get into your slipstream? And you have to decide, do you want to stand up and, you know, make your draft even bigger? Do you want to stay low, go wide, maybe ride a line they don't want, which you had mentioned in the swim, right? Swimming off course to drop someone off your feet. Drafting matters in all three sports here in triathlon, that's for sure.
Yep, exactly. And what sometimes you do is you sit behind somebody for a couple seconds, take a little bit breather, and then try and get around them because you know you're a little bit more powerful than them. So we'll see if that happens here.
Yeah, we just saw the athlete in red spot the athlete in black. But she looked between her legs, saw her there. So it looks like she's resting for a minute, and I'll be curious if she stays there or if she makes another move, because we saw that athlete just absolutely drop the person behind her.
So one of the nice things about this venue is this nice protected harbor swim. I always enjoyed swimming in the waves and swimming a little bit more of a choppy swim, but it's great when you can swim in a nice harbor like this, and you've got a little bit of protection from the wind, so it makes it a little bit better. It's interesting, you can actually see one athlete swimming a little bit off course there, probably sighting off the wrong buoy. And I think you saw another athlete swim back to go around that buoy because they probably missed it, right? And if they cut that buoy, they're going to get disqualified. So, you know, one of those things, you can go back out and do it as long as you don't get out of the water.
Yeah, it looks like from our scoreboard that Army and Navy are incredibly close together, and I'm hoping we get a shot here shortly where we're able to kind of see that illustrated. Now with the race so spread out, it's kind of be challenging for our cameras to find leaders. So hopefully Kevin can find like in that transition, especially if at that relay handoff area, if we can visually see how tight that Army-Navy battle is. And it seems like that's like all the time, and regardless of the sport, those two are always head to head.
They're always battling each other, right? So it's kind of cool to see them going against each other here at Collegiate Draft Legal Mixed Relay National Championships. Looking at all the flags down here of the schools that are out there, it's pretty cool to see the growth of the sport. And I know the other thing that USA Triathlon has really tried to work on, which is not a part of this race, is actually the NCAA program. So right now, triathlon is a women's sport for the NCAA, and they're working hard to continue to grow that. They've got schools across D1, D2, and D3, and they race their season in the fall. And so those athletes, because they're NCAA athletes, they cannot race the collegiate club races. And so these are athletes who are racing clubs on their school, not at the varsity level. But some of these schools hopefully will continue to grow and decide to take it to the varsity level if they have good enough athletes or if they want to kind of expand that program. But it's awesome. I mean, that did not exist 15 years ago, and it's been something that USA Triathlon's worked really hard at to make sure that we give athletes the opportunity to continue to develop once they leave the junior ranks.
Yeah, and it sounds like we've got Kevin in transition with some of our top athletes.
All right, guys, so Franca Henselite has got Queen's University way out in front, but University of Calgary Berkeley in second place and looking strong here, and we don't have third place in sight as of yet. So those two teams appear to be well clear of the rest of the crew here. They're now out on the run here as they finish up their legs. So we should be seeing those guys coming in to do the tag off to our fourth and final runners in the next, I'm guessing, 3 or 4 minutes. And it looks like this might be Navy going along in third. So Navy looking to try and run down and run their way into second. I think first is way out there. Queen's University of Charlotte. It's going to be very, very tough to catch right now. But Navy certainly has their eyes on California Berkeley. So we'll see if those guys are able to make things a little closer as we get closer to the finish line. And Army now in fourth, just getting out started there as well. So the West Point guys making lots of noise as their athlete gets started on her run. So we're getting close to the end here, coming very close to our final leg. Alicia and Jared, back to you.
She was going fast. Really fast coming out of there. Yeah, Queens, so from our timing, we got Queens with a 57-second lead over Cal, then Navy at 135, Army at 147. So that they've pretty well defined themselves kind of top 4 there, but it looks like we're going to have a good battle here from Navy and Army for that last spot on the podium. But I will say, we don't know what's going to happen out front. We have no clue. This is not individual, so they're tagging off to a new teammate. They're going to have to ride this race solo, which can be sometimes a little more difficult than riding it together. Navy and Army might want to ride together because it might help them catch Cal.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to this fourth place person, our second guy, to see how strong that their team is. Like, how much balance do you have across the board, or did you use your 2 aces early, and now that you've got athletes that maybe are going to have to rise to the occasion and really pull something out special for their team to hold on to this podium. But wow, we can see that. Was that Navy or Army? I think that was Army that just ran by. Just this beautiful runner, absolutely beautiful cadence. This athlete looks amazing too. It's just...
Yep. This is our second place Cal athlete coming in. They're getting very close to their handoff. Tag off, and the last guy is going to be flying into the water.
Here we go.
Oh, here's Queens. Kevin almost got run over there.
So running down and just launching themselves. Yep, we're going to have Kevin add some color here on what he's seeing in that tag-off area.
All right, so Franca Heinzlet from Queen's University of Charlotte passing off to Benjamin Capozzi, who will round things out for this Queen's University of Charlotte team. It's going to be a tough one for anyone to catch these guys. They are flying. They are, of course, your reigning mixed relay champions, so no surprise to see them out in front. But check out this Berkeley team. So Melissa Stock from Berkeley having a fantastic late race, and she is going to be tagging off to Urian Schuring, who will round things out. So he is well back, but certainly doesn't look like he is going to be giving up any time. He is desperately going after that. And from what I can see, we've got Navy getting ready to go now. Isabel Mesa has had an incredible weekend of racing. She was one of our top finishers in our draft legal race yesterday, and now she's tagging off to Yan Song Wong. So Navy Academy is flying along in third. And they have opened, that is a little bit of a surprise to me. It seemed to me that it was a lot closer between Navy and West Point before they started this run. So Kira Webster just about to tag off here now to Andrew Littlehales. So he will wrap things up for your West Point team as they get started. So that's your top four. I am feeling pretty confident that your medals are coming from those four teams, and we're gonna start working our way over to the finish now to start getting ready to welcome your champions here at the USA Triathlon Collegiate Club Championship Mixed Relay. Back to you, Jared and Alicia.
And we could see the top three athletes there absolutely flying on the swim. They are phenomenal swimmers. You can see their turnover. I love watching swimming like this. Look at, I mean, that is a beautiful swim stroke. Beautiful.
Classic giddy up stroke, as we would say. If you've watched Katie Ledecky swim, you know what we're talking about, that sort of hitch. This is really common in open water swimming and long distance swimming, I would say.
Yeah, so you can see what they're doing is sighting. And it looks like, oh, there he goes, correcting. You can see he actually, because this, well, actually we can see this now. The sun is right in their line of sight with what they're looking at. So that's actually why they've been running a little bit to the right, because the sun's kind of right over the buoy that they're trying to go to. The other interesting thing about swimming in open water is swimming in a straight line when you put your head down. Everybody moves one way or another. And so I always like to do a drill where I would see which way I was moving, and I usually pulled to my right. So I would think I need to go a little bit to the left. So it's important to know how your stroke moves.
Absolutely, and I always remember as an athlete bringing lots of different goggles for different lighting situations, and you know, the goggles you might have selected at the start of the race versus the ones now could be totally different. So even equipment choices can really make a difference on a day like this, especially in the swim. I feel like the goggle is one of the most overlooked equipment choices. People just like hold on to old goggles, or you know, don't bring options for themselves, and it's just such an important part of the swim.
Absolutely. The light, the way the buoys look, how they're set against the backdrop, it's very, very important for what you see. And you can see our leaders hopping out of the water here. We're going to see a really, really quick transition. That was a beautiful swim. And he is going to be working this by himself, trying to stay away from
Cal, Navy, and Army. Really, he doesn't have much time to like really rest on his laurels, as they would say. And he went into the water with a 53-second lead. So I'm really curious to see out of the water if he extended his lead further. We've got the gaps now, and it's going to be really easy for us to tell if Cal is making a move on this athlete. And here we are in transition. That helmet must be clipped before you touch your bike. So that's one of the most important rules in triathlon, is you need to have that helmet fully clipped. Some athletes, as they're running with their bike like this, will then put sunglasses on sometimes, but in these super short races, we'll normally see athletes elect to just not wear sunglasses. And beautiful mount. That was like almost a flying mount. That's one of the hardest skills to truly learn as an athlete. I never got great at it, but that
I did
athlete.
not either. I did a little hop skip mount, and I had friends who could do the flying mount, and it is something that you have to work on and practice. And that's the other thing, if you think about triathlon, you think of swimming and biking, running. What you don't think about is how important transitions are. And, it's the fourth discipline of triathlon, as they usually say, but it is. It can make up a lot of you can make up a lot of time if you have really good transitions. It can help you win races. You can also miss packs if you don't have a good transition.
Yeah, and if these athletes were clumped up together, we would see those transitions become even more critical. So it just depends on the day, but I always used to say you will never regret working on transitions. If you think about how hard you work to get just a little bit faster at swimming or biking or running, imagine if you could just get 10 seconds faster by working at something that actually requires no fitness. It just takes discipline. So transitions are definitely one of those things as an athlete that I think is underrated. It looks like we've got our second place athlete into transition right now, and this should be Cal, and it definitely looks like the Cal kit.
Yep, looks like you can see him running down the middle there.
Running the bike.
Here we go. You can hear the fans. I love the enthusiasm of the spectators here.
And the other fun thing, you saw him trying to clip his helmet there. And what is very easy to do is clip your helmet. What is very hard to do is clip your helmet when you're in the middle of a race and you've already swum and your heart rate is really high, and you have to do it fast because you want to get on your bike fast. You miss, and it doesn't clip, and it keeps going, and you get more and more frustrated. And sometimes you have to actually take that step back, slow down, and do it very, very slowly.
Yeah, those fine motor skills definitely get diminished as that heart rate gets high. I mean, I think any athlete who's done a triathlon has been there before and knows what that feels like. It can get really challenging to do the most simple tasks.
And we can see off the timing is not on screen right now, but our timing system shows Cal with a 1 minute lead over Navy for that second to third place, and then Army's about 14 seconds behind. So that's second, third, and fourth. And here's our Navy athlete heading out, but the Queens athlete put in a massive swim, gained a lot of time there, and has a 1:43 lead, which is absolutely impressive. So Navy's going to be really trying to hold off Army at this point. I think Queens and Cal have really put their stamp on first and second place here. So they're going to be working hard, but also trying to make sure they don't overcook themselves.
Yeah, and I believe this is Army here getting on the bike as well. So close racing, but I agree with you, Jared. I feel like the gaps have just opened up enough now that we're going to see some time trialing happen here on the bike. And it's going to take a really special performance after that swim out of the Queens athlete for anything to change on the top of our podium. But you never know. They've got to stay rubber side down. This does have some technical aspects to the bike with that roundabout we just saw. So there's a lot of unpredictable elements in triathlon that make it so it's never over until it's over. This is sport, right? Anything can happen. So we'll see what happens here.
This looks like our Cal athlete heading out after the bike turnaround. So our second place athlete.
And lots of daylight in front of them, so it doesn't look like they are making up a significant enough ground to close the gap to that Queens team, but they've just had a really dominant performance, and to have a swimmer like that on your fourth leg.
It always feels good to get away and have a little bit of a gap, but you still got to finish it off. So I'm actually looking, and we'll see the top couple teams come in, but honestly, this group of UC Davis and Stanford and Purdue, who we've got down 5th to 8th place, that's going to be a really tight race.
Yeah, and we've got Kevin down on the bike course.
Sorry, guys, I was just out on the bike course here, and the Berkeley guys are flying, but the Army and Navy folks out, I can't believe how quickly those guys are moving on that backstretch. So I'll be very interested to see. You guys will have a much better view. I am just coming on over to the finish line now, but it looked like things might be tightening up a bit during this bike leg. So keep your eyes open. It should be fun as they come on into this finish. I did not even, I got there a little bit late. I didn't even see the Queens guys. They are flying out there and we're well ahead. So unless something really crazy happens, Queens looks like they are on their way to defend their title in style. I'll send things back to you and be back with our finish shortly.
This is our Cal athlete. Looks like he's putting his head down. And he actually hasn't even strapped his shoes up.
He hasn't. He's going so hard. He has not fully done up his shoes, which can definitely happen in these shorter races. You know, it is hard to get it all done as far from a transition perspective. So it just shows what an effort he's putting in to try and close that gap to the Queens athlete. And he is, if that is the Queens athlete on the corner.
I don't think it is.
Oh.
I think that's one of our
female athletes.
Our female athletes
yeah.
on the third leg. We might see the Queens athlete actually coming back. I think we might see him on the corner over there. This is a nice out and back, and that's a good thing too, is you can see where the other athletes are. So I think this is our Queens athlete passing him right there.
Yep. Good eye.
Looked like he was going very hard.
Absolutely.
So one of the cool things we learned, I want to throw a fact in here, is that the port of Gulfport imports the most bananas into the U.S.
Bananas.
So we've seen a lot of Chiquita banana trucks coming by. That's my fact of the day. But that's one of the things that they import here is they're the biggest importer of bananas. So.
But yeah, I mean, it was really incredible to see those huge cranes, and you know, like the amount of importing that happens through this city is, oh my goodness, look at that pool. You can tell you're a triathlete for life when you're noticing the pools.
So that was the pool actually that the Continental Cup athletes or the America's Cup athletes were able to use in the morning. So they worked with the city and the yacht club here to give them access to that pool before the race when they were here to train for a couple days. So yeah, so that's, you know, working with the city to make sure that the athletes have everything they need to be successful.
Yeah, another data point of just showing how this community has just gone over and above to just get behind this event. That just access to a pool is just one of those things. Even though you've got this beautiful ocean, you know, the athletes do want to get in their pool sessions as well to, you know, just make sure that they're feeling good and getting their routine in check and feeling their stroke. So we see another pass by that was probably Cal going by Navy, coming the opposite direction. So it's really going to take a special run for things to really change here, or for someone to have something go really wrong. And what could go wrong on the run, Jared? Like, what could happen in K?
Well, there are lots of things that could happen. There's some things that are crazy that could happen. I had my shoelaces come undone once at World Championships. They just came undone, and it's really hard to run when you don't have shoelaces. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, you can get a side stitch. That's something that can happen. But you know, when you think about it, you're really only running for 3 minutes. That's what a K is when you're running fast. Well, faster than that even. But you know, it's a really quick time. So you know, you can only make up 10 to 15 seconds if everybody's running fast. You can see the Cal teammates cheering for them.
Yeah, I think that might be my favorite part of this event, is just seeing the support from the teammates for one another and the enthusiasm. Like, it's just been exceptional to see these athletes, and we're gonna start to see our first splits here. So as soon as we get a gap, oh, here we go. We should have this very shortly for you here so that you can see the gap between Queens and Cal here, and we'll know very shortly if there's any gaps. But here we see him putting on his shoes very quickly. These super shoes are a little bit harder to get into the shoes that we raced in at the ends of our career, which is more of the racing flat, really thin, not much to the shoe. And now these athletes are racing in like $400 carbon fiber plated, tons of foam. They're a little bit harder to get into.
They are a lot harder to get into and slide into because they're trying to save weight too, because they realized every time you have to move your leg through your running gait, if you can shave off just a little fraction of weight, it helps you, right? You don't have to carry that every time you run. So the shoes are lighter, the foam on the bottom is lighter. You've got carbon plates in them, which help. The foam rebounds. It's honestly, it's a lot like running on trampolines, which it sounds weird.
Here we've got Navy, and I'm trying to see if that is Army right behind them or if that's a woman from a previous leg in the relay. But Navy's had a beautiful ride, really strong bike ride. So hopefully we'll start to see the gaps here shortly and be able to report on if there's been any significant movement. But visually what we can see so far is that this is going to be our podium, pending any surprises.
It looks like Cal made up a little bit of time on that last leg. They were 143 so on the bike. They gained a couple seconds, which isn't going to be enough to get them on the podium, but it looked like they were stronger than Navy. So getting a little bit of daylight between them and third place.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that Navy really did on that leg was like assert themselves onto the podium, which is an element of racing, right? Like you kind of want to get a lead where you're maybe out of sight, out of mind. When that athlete can't see you anymore, you all of a sudden lose that advantage from the person behind. I think we should have queens to the finish very, very shortly. So we're waiting on any second to hear that Kevin is at the finish line, but we're so excited to see the finish of this. But it looks like it'll be Queens, Cal, and Navy and our 1, 2, 3 here, but just fantastic racing. Got another couple athletes. Oh, that athlete had his running shoes on and rode in his running shoes. So we continue to see people with different strategies out here.
There we go.
Incredible racing by this team. They deserved it top to bottom. They didn't have a weak leg on the day, did they? I just can't wait to, that could be Morgan Pearson's twin. Holy moly. Morgan is one of the athletes on the U.S. national team with USA Triathlon, and I believe that might even be Tim Yount in the finish shoot as well. And here we got second place coming in, Cal. Very, very happy, and as they should be. And we've got Kevin in our finish shoot. Just fantastic racing out of Cal here. They're clearly exhausted, our fourth relay member, but I mean, just brilliant performance out of all four of them. You know, they did have a push Queens right to the finish. They pushed them every step of the way. I thought they were super well balanced across all four. Wow, you can see the team spirit from Liberty.
Watching the Liberty University guy.
With the turkey in the top of the frame. I mean, this is just, I think, shows the spirit of this event.
I think it's a bald eagle.
It's a bald eagle. Well, I thought it was a turkey. Okay.
Well, that was almost the U.S. animal instead of the bald eagle. But that's another fact for another day.
Both very, very regal birds.
Yes.
But this is just exceptional racing out of both of these schools, and I bet it won't be much longer here until we see Navy come through as well. So these schools should just be super proud of their performance.
And one of the things that I picked up on the leaderboard there, it looked like UC Davis was in behind Navy. So we might actually have a really close finish behind Navy and UC Davis. Looks like they caught up to them there, and Army actually fell off a little bit. So I'm interested to see how this finished between 3rd and 4th, and then we've got 5th, 6th, and 7th as well. So
Very
it's
close
you know,
racing.
there's first place, second place, but it's still a lot of hard racing as we come into the finish.
Oh, we see a team queuing. We see 2 teams queuing up, so this must be very close for 3rd place here. Oh, I cannot sit. Wait, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
They got them. That is incredible racing.
I'm clapping in the booth. And he's got heart glasses on.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Oh, my gosh. They came from really, really far behind there.
I mean, it just shows you it's not over till it's over, right? Like, it's just, this is why we love sport, right? You just...
Oh, we got a couple more coming in. This is the Stanford, Colorado, and Army. Wow, that was some great finishing there at the end.
I mean, incredible 4th relay members from Stanford. I feel like they were out of the mix for a little while there, and unbelievable from Colorado as well.
And that's the thing with this race is sometimes you can stack your athletes towards the front and get out in the lead and try and hold that lead, which maybe is what Army tried to do. They knew they had 2 or 3 good athletes, and they wanted their last athlete to be in the mix. Other teams might have started with their athletes who are getting better, and they kind of went to their faster athletes at the end. And that's the cool thing about the relay is that you are trying to improve. Every athlete's trying to improve, but you're trying to piece together your fastest relay, which that makes for fun racing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of chess, right? Like it's playing the perfect hand in poker. Like you just don't know what everyone else is gonna do, and you just have to play the hand that you've got and put together the best strategy that you have. And I think that we saw Queens and Cal and UC Davis come out on top, and I mean, we've got to applaud UC Davis's fourth relay team member who just put together a stunning run performance. I cannot wait to see that run split. And it sounds like we've got Kevin in the finish chute, and he's going to be interviewing our champions, so we're going to see some happy faces here. Kevin?
All right, I am here with your 2-time collegiate champions, 3 times. Sorry to take that one away from you. I'll start with Claire Dasso. What a weekend of racing you've had, Claire. Congratulations. How does it feel getting this 3rd one?
It feels great. Oh, this one. Finally got the dub. Just took a little bit of help. Yeah, it's a great team here today.
And so who do we have next? We have Franca. Franca, great leg out there. How was it racing with these guys?
It was really great. I really enjoyed it, and this is my last time for Queens, so way to end.
All right, and so this is Jeremy, I guess. Jeremy, you had an incredible 2nd leg. What's it mean to get the gold medal for the Queen's University of Charlotte crew?
It's good to bring it back home. It's tough doing the triple, but it's a good time.
And finally, Joe, these guys made it easy for you. So do you owe them, we're not going to say the beer. Do you owe them a meal for all of their hard work out there?
Yes, sir, of course. They really set me up to have a good race and made it easy for me just to bring it in. So I'm super fortunate to have the team here, and yeah, it was a great time.
All right, one more time for your 3-time champions right here, Queen's University of Charlotte. Fantastic, and I'll throw it back to you guys as we get ready for our award ceremony momentarily.
Oh, I love to see it. Is there anything better than having a good day when you're racing as an athlete?
It's amazing. It's fun to see the smiles on their faces. They obviously are excited to put it all together. Also sounds like some of their last races, which also, you feel that too, but it's cool to be able to do that in your last race, to win a race, to really push yourself. I just think it's impressive. I mean, they went out there, and I think their goal was to stay ahead of everybody else and kind of run their own race and not have to worry about tactics, and they did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you just mentioned that. Like, it can be bittersweet as an athlete, especially as you're ending your collegiate career. the sport, the team that you've grown really close with, and we clearly had an athlete here have their kind of final race together, and that just makes it even more special. And hopefully that we see her continue to race, and we'll see her on maybe the non-draft circuit or the draft legal circuit, depending on her passions. But hopefully the Collegiate Club has become a springboard for her to continue on with her career, and for all these athletes. And it's just incredible to see how this whole program has grown to the level that it has, and to see these athletes also keep it fun. I think that's been the really cool part, as someone who raced professionally for over 20 years, to see how they had a dance party last night, you know, and they're dressing up, and there's so much school spirit and community behind this. And look at this, they're getting all together for a photo of the podium. And that's just so lovely to see. And it just shows that sportsmanship, I think, amongst the schools as well.
I'm just looking here through the results, and you know, I'm so impressed at how close some of these finishes were. Looks like we've got UC Davis, Cal, and Stanford here, so little West Coast athletes together there. So they race against each other a lot, which, you know, so they're probably very excited for each other. Second, third, and fifth place on the day.
Definitely a good day of racing for them. And you know, it's like, as we're panning around, we've come to know the Clash team and the team at USAT so well. I saw not only the CEO from USAT out there on the course cheering people on, I saw the CFO of Clash Endurance pointing people in the right direction. You know, every single person on this crew has stepped up, worked long days to make this event successful. You know, and it's just been incredible to see the support from USA Triathlon, to see the support from Clash Endurance, to see the support from this community. I think every single person was willing to get their hands dirty and do the, like, you know, the kind of grunt work of event production that I think a lot of people don't think about, and how much work goes into creating these incredible events. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that puts these together.
And the fun thing is there's another race tomorrow, which is the age group race. And
that's right.
So there's going to be a lot of people out there racing both the sprint distance race and the Daytona distance, which, if you want to watch the video on how the Daytona distance came about, that's on Clash's YouTube page as well. You can see the backstory of that. Bill Christie, CEO of Clash Endurance, Alicia and a couple others of us were actually there at one of the early races, and ended up making up a distance.
Yeah, we said, you know what, Clash, I feel like, is all about throwing the rules out the window, right? It's all about having no rules, and that's been the fun thing about working with Bill over the years, is that he's like, why not? Like, what if? Why are we doing it this way? What if there's a different way? And I feel like we have to talk about the Zero to Try program that's happening tomorrow morning. I know you're a huge part of it. This was a big passion project for Bill, in getting more triathletes to the finish line in their first triathlon. So can you share a little bit about what that program is and why it's so important to the sport of triathlon?
So tomorrow I'm getting the opportunity to race with some newbies to the sport, so people who have not raced before, and we offered for them to sign up for their own wave. And so myself, Lisa Roberts, who's another former professional triathlete, Bill Christie, actually Vic, the CEO of USAT, is going to be in there, and we're going to help them along during the race. It's going to be a lot of fun, and getting new people into the sport.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing to watch. And I think we've got our awards ceremony ready to go based off of everybody running to that podium. So, Kevin, let's throw it down to you.
There they go. That was your champions right there. So Queen's University of Charlotte, University of California, Berkeley, and UC Davis. And in case any moms and dads are worried at home, that is sparkling cider. And right now we're going to get the CEO of Clash Endurance to hand over the trophy to our three-time champions, Queen's University of Charlotte. So Queen's University of Charlotte, here you go. Bill, just give it to him. over here. So there you go, your three-time champions, Queens University of Charlotte Clash Endurance CEO Bill Christie giving them the trophy. And that wraps up our live coverage here today from the USA Triathlon Collegiate Club National Championships, our mixed relay finishing off in style as Queens University of Charlotte celebrates a third straight win. It has been exciting racing. It has been fantastic to be with you all. Thank you for joining us here today. My name's Kevin McKinnon, and on behalf of Alicia Kay and Jared Shoemaker, thank you all for joining us here today, and we look forward to seeing you racing with us again sometime soon. Have a good one, everyone.
I loved it. I didn't hear anything in my ears at all. You didn't even talk to me.